What's going on, guys? This is the first episode of the Disaster Factory.
We're sitting in 87 Comanche right now. This is my boy. His name's Jake.
This is my boy. His name's Connor.
We're just trying to show you what he just got. It's a pretty badass rock crawler. You want to tell him about it?
Yeah, so I picked up this thing around, what was it? I would say I probably had it for about 3 months. Now, about a week after I bought it, we were driving down to Walmart to get an American flag for the rear. I'm sure you could actually still see it in the rear window. Now, as we were driving down the highway, the Jeep started to slow down almost like I was hitting the brakes.
It was very strange, something you don't normally experience.
Right. And,
Maybe 20 seconds later.
Yeah.
About 20 seconds later, his rear axle decides he doesn't want to be a part of this Jeep anymore.
No, it was out. It wasn't.
Yeah, he had some depression, and he just left.
So what actually had happened was it felt like somebody rear-ended me with a dump truck, and we both went flying forward as well as everything else in the Jeep.
Yeah.
Things that I didn't even know I had in here ended up
Everywhere.
by my feet.
That's an understatement.
so
Tires locked up, and we actually put the pedal down, and we had to get it off the highway. We barely managed to make it down the off ramp, and
So as we were sitting on the side of the road, Connor says to me, he said, "Look, man, I'm gonna give us 8 minutes until the police show up."
they showed up in 7.
Yeah, they were there in 7. And you know what? The cops, they showed up and they were cool.
Pretty nice guys.
They were
They
very
understood. But they asked us they're like, can you move this behemoth off the shoulder and over into that shopping center over there? And we said, no way. There's no way this thing's gonna move. And it wasn't gonna move at all. We had to call a tow truck. The tow truck passes us on the way to go get another vehicle. He had to go all the way down, 45 minutes down the road and 45 minutes back before he could come get us. And when he tried to put it on the bed, dude, the rear tires were locked up. I mean, it was smoking, it was scraping and screaming. They just wouldn't budge, so we just dragged it up onto the bed.
Yeah, and in fact, I thought it was my transfer case that blew, but what it ended up being is when I got onto the Jeep, it was smoking out of the rear axle where the drive shaft connects to the axle. So I decided to poke it with my finger, and that was a bad decision. It hurt.
What happened?
It hurt. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, so the next day, we decided, we had it towed to our buddy's house. And then the next day, we decided we were going to pull the axle out and see what the problem was. And it was pretty apparent once we took off the diff cover that all the pieces were at the bottom.
Yeah, there was no oil in it.
Yeah, so what had happened was there might have been a small leak, and it just over time it was just draining out. And we were just running it bone dry. It decided to get real hot, and then it decided to explode.
I mean, I took it wheeling. I drove 2.5 hours up into the mountains, took it wheeling all day in a boulder field. Everything was cool, but you know what? I decided to meet up with him one day. We roll over to Walmart just to get an American flag, and she decides to let loose right then and there.
Which is ironic.
Yeah.
Because it could do everything else, but as soon as you go to Walmart, she don't want to cooperate.
Yeah. In fact, like when I bought this thing, the guy told me he was like, no matter where you go, this Jeep is always gonna get you home. You know what? It didn't get me home from Walmart though.
Yeah. Well, buyer beware.
Buyer beware, right?
Well, it didn't take much because what'd you do? You went out and got a new axle the day after.
Yeah.
We threw that in there just to drive it around in 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. And then you had it rebuilt, the original axle rebuilt for the same gearing 488s, which we got in here now, and they're doing pretty solid.
Yeah,
no complaints.
I got G2 488s in the rear with a limited slip. I wanted to put the locker in there. Unfortunately, I was just going through a little bit of a tough time financially, so I figured I'd just put a limited slip in it. It works just fine. Both tires spin. We took it for a run in the field.
Yes, we did. We tore that up. We'll throw a clip in there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So,
maybe not.
If you guys want to, we can take you for a little walk around. So here is the Jeep. Picked this thing up for about $2,000 in a CRF 450.
Very good purchase.
She's a beaut.
Get a lot of love out of her.
Absolutely. Now this thing,
Show them under here real quick.
this thing I believe is a
Look at
one.
that beefy setup.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. We got a Dana 30 in the front, truss with RCV axle shafts. I'm not sure what the tie rods, track bars, drag links are brand wise.
But they do the job.
They do. Very nice. All right, so we got Swampers 35s on there. Full roll cage. That's my little attention onto this. Hope you guys like that. This is the American flag that I will never forget because my Jeep never made it home that day.
You got the iconic Jeep logo sitting right there in the back.
Yep.
Did you show him the gas tank?
I did not.
She's always hungry.
Absolutely. Actually, you guys should check this one out. We got a Minion painted on the rear differential.